What's good, my man of society? It is your host with the most, Shadow Loke, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and or subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. That is how you help my channel get into the algorithm. Highly appreciate you go ahead and do that. Now, what I wanted to get into was actually an interesting topic, right? I was seeing this one video and I was talking about the whole Mr. McMahon scandal and stuff like that, right? And one of the viewers in the comments had put, why are people making it a big deal? I mean, back in the 90s or whatever, the Attitude Era, this is what we wanted to see. This is what people were craving and, people found entertaining, right? And to that, I'll say he is absolutely 100% right? Because for us to get to the point that we're at now, right, with people's behaviors and what people choose to value and what people choose to idolize and, how people behave, in social groups. For too long, people have been pushing the envelope, right, and allowing bad behaviors to go unchecked, right? Now, people could say, oh, this world is getting too sensitive. This world is, people complain and cry about everything. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that when you're choosing to insult another person or humiliate them or make fun of their way they look, their weight, or anything about them, right? It's entertaining to you, right? And you find humor, but at that person's expense. So at that person's expense and making them feel like shit just to bring yourself some kind of gratification should be allowed, should go without nobody saying nothing, right? But you're making this person feel like shit, but you feel like you're in the right though. Now, why is that? Or why should that be allowed to be seen as okay though? You know what I'm saying? Like, people say, well, people can't take jokes. People could take jokes, but you're not making no jokes though. You're humiliating that person. You're making fun of him. You know what I mean? About real things, right? Real things that he maybe or she maybe finds insecure about themselves, right? So that's not a joke, right? You're literally trying to make fun of this person. So people could take jokes, but you're not telling them though. What you're doing is you're insulting. There's a difference from insulting and telling jokes, right? And comedians, entertainment, movies, all of that have completely smeared it all, right? They call it entertainment. They call it, jokes, sitcoms, skits. But you're not telling a joke, right? A joke, you don't need to... In order to tell a joke, in order for the joke to be funny, it doesn't mean you have to make fun of somebody, right? Or put them down because of the way they looks or anything about themselves, right? It's when you're able to be creative enough to tell a story that makes people laugh, right? And find entertaining, right? About fictional things, fictional scenarios, fictional people. Not about actual people, actual scenarios, and actual problems that they have going on. See, when you're dragging people's actual problems and actual, insecurities into your skit, then it no longer becomes entertainment. Then now it literally becomes this person's life, and now you looking to stomp on it. You get what I'm saying? And for too long, people have been saying like, there's no big deal, just let it's a joke. But at the expense of all these individuals, right? And at the expense of how people should be able to behave around other people and how they should treat another person, right? Making fun of their weights, their looks, and etc., right? Why, younger kids do it, right? Because that's all they see, growing up, right? That it becomes normal. It becomes the normal thing to do, right? Like, doesn't everybody do it? Isn't this the way that we're supposed to behave? That's why people find this entertaining, why they crave it and all that, because they think that it's normal, because they grow up thinking that it's normal, these behaviors. Because society has normalized these behaviors because we allow these behaviors to go unchecked, these bad behaviors that people call entertaining, jokes and stuff like that. But for them, right? Entertaining for them, right? It doesn't matter who gets hurt and what's going on, right? As long as they're able to make themselves laugh in the audience, then there's no problem, People are too sensitive all of a sudden. Sensitive how? You're literally trying to make that person feel like shit, though. And just because people stand up for that person, you're saying that the world is too sensitive? How about you look in a way to entertain the crowd or make them laugh without insulting another person, though? Or is that too creative? Or is that too challenging, right? Is that too hard to be able to think of something like that, right? It's too much work. Is that what it is? People don't want to, think so hard or think so much. This is a lot more easier, right? You know what I mean? I mean, that's the reason why a lot of people, end up having mental health, committing suicide, having drug problems, alcohol problems, gambling problems, and then etc. Especially when we're talking about overweight people, right? The people don't feel bad because of their health, right? Because that's what you should be concerned, right? Because being overweight, you should be concerned because of your health, right? Because it's unhealthy, right? But that's not why people target it, and that's not why people feel bad. They feel bad because people make fun of these people, because they get humiliated, and people target them for that reason, right? So this is not revolving around their health or, well, nobody should want to be that because it's unhealthy. But that's not why it's done, though. It's done surely to make everybody laugh and just to amuse yourself by making somebody else feel like shit, though. So therefore, you're not doing it for this, positive reason. Like, you want to spin the narrative now when you get called out on it, right? So therefore, you know what I mean? It's not that people are being too insecure, or too soft or too uptight, right? You know what I mean? Uptight is if you're telling a joke and people get offended and whatever. If you're not making fun of nobody else, right? And they're still getting mad, right? That's being uptight, right? But when you're actually making fun of an individual, right, then somebody actually now stands up for that individual, that's not being uptight. That's doing what's right. You know what I mean? Because nobody should be entertained or amused by making somebody else feel like shit, though. But that is what became the norm, right? With so many TV shows, soap operas, wrestling in itself, right? That people started craving that and think that it's the normal, especially with comedians. They do it a lot, right? And then they wonder why people get mad and wanted to rush them on stage or wanted to beat their asses, right? Because they think that what they're doing is not wrong. And I'm not saying all comedians, right? But there's some comedians that are they're not telling jokes. They're just literally on stage talking shit. And then expect nobody to, knock their teeth out. Right? And people can't even say that, oh, well, look at, famous celebrities, who are overweight, they had no problem with it. They run with the jokes and all that. Anybody could tell you from all overweight actors, right? I've seen so many different documentaries. They were all depressed. They all hated it. They all didn't like it. They just felt like that's what the world, and they just went with it. But they were never comfortable with it. They never, they were never okay with it. And it led them to having a lot of problems in their lives. Because everyone's going to feel some type of way, bro. Truly them themselves, like, with all bullshit to the side, they don't like it. You know what I mean? But since everyone's been telling them, ease up, hey, just roll with it, hey, it's no harm. That's pushing the envelope, seeing how far they could take it. And since people have been allowing people to push the envelope so far, that's why the problems has gotten so out of control the way it has gotten, right? Because people let, all the people who have bad advice, all the people who live recklessly, all the people who think recklessly, take the spotlight, right? And allow them to, push their bullshit behavior and tricking people to thinking that it's okay to behave in this manner when it's not. Right? You see a lot of, people who have like a bunch of subscribers on YouTube, right? Who do all this stupid shit and put themselves through all this kind of crap just for views, right? And their mental starts spiraling out of control, right? Because they're not seeing that they're not getting the views and the likes and all that because people find them entertaining, but more because people are making fun of them and they want to see them fail or get hurt or whatever. You know what I mean? Because people don't find those kind of things, entertaining, even though they call it entertainment. They're really just looking at this person being like, this fool's a fucking idiot. That's how they're seeing it. But want to pass it off like, nah, bro, this is entertaining. What's the big problem? And it's when you allow bad behaviors without going unchecked that the world gets to, to where it's at, with people's behaviors. But overall, that's just my thoughts on the matter. What do you guys think? Leave your opinions in the comments. Shadow, we out.